furniture walls. Plex can modify any of their existing house plans to your satisfaction, complete with all the installation services you need anywhere in the country, including ambergris key. They can also lift your house to your desired height up to 9 feet. From properly treated and cured lumber to quality sidings and floorings, let Plex Home Builders give your home the finish you need. For prices or questions, call 823-0398 or go to www.pletzhomebuilders.com. Plex Home Builders, we build to suit your needs.
We've got the plumbing and electrical in our store. We've got the paints and the brush and light fixtures. That's for sure. We've got steel, cement, and tiles galore. And so much more. We've got everything in that store. We've got windows and doors just for you. In our store. We've got sheetrock, plywood, and hardwood too. That's for sure. Tools for gardening and the great outdoors. And so much more. We've got everything in that store. We've got variety. Everything. Quality. Everything. Quantity. Everything. At Builders Hardware, variety. Everything. Quality. Everything. Quantity. Everything. At Builders Hardware. We've got the sinks and the tubs and cabinets. In our store. We've got the nuts and the bolts, so don't forget. And so much more. We've got service with a smile. That's for sure. We've got everything in that store. We've got variety. Everything. Quality. Everything. Quantity. Everything. At Builders Hardware, variety. Everything. And quality. Everything. Quantity. Everything. At Builders Hardware. For builders who build with a passion and skill, go to Builders Hardware.
It's here again, March 16th and 17th, My Refuge Annual Belize Gospel Expo. Under the theme, John 20:21. Again, Jesus said, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, I am sending you." This year marks 7 years of Belize Gospel Expo goodness. The National Agriculture and Trade Showgrounds will come alive all day Saturday and into the night. Booths, workshop, and live concerts. You will enjoy some great gospel music from some of our local gospel bands, such as the Polemio Band from Dangriga, the New Tide Band from Belize City, Belize artist Kelsey from Belmopan, and more. On stage will be our international artist Joshua Ali, straight out of Trinidad. I can see the promised land. And Emron Henry from St. Lucia. Then Sunday at 9 a.m., inviting all church in the Belmopan area to our joint service with guest speaker Troy Brewer from Texas. This will be an unforgettable weekend for the entire family, and it's all free. If you'd like to support financially, then please contact us at 615-0710 or 604-2404. The Belize Gospel Expo 2019. You don't want to miss this.
Like a rhythm in my bones now, from my head right down to my toes now, and got to tell them more about Jesus' love, yeah. Man, this place is...
Where can you find quality household goods and appliance? Where can you get all your personal care products for the best looking you? Where can you get all the baby care products you need at the best prices in town? And where can you find all your groceries at really great prices? Yes, it's the mall for a whole lot of your kitchen, family and home needs. Walk through spacious aisles and browse well-stocked shelves in a very bright setting. Pick up fresh meat, old stuff, canned goods, your favorite snack, and get the goods for your dog and cat. Everything your baby needs, find it all at the mall. Ladies, check out the beauty section for all your personal care needs. And guys, find a variety of car care products, even batteries, right off the shelf. Plastic wares galore for anything you need to store. Get help from the friendly staff. Don't do it all yourself. Pull up in our large parking lot on the Hummingbird Highway, just a short drive from the roundabout. Mr. Huang and his family are waiting to welcome you to the mall in Belmopan.
And a pleasant good morning to you wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in to Eyes on the Nation on 93.7 FM, 100.5. And of course, on Facebook Live, we welcome you this morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning. And of course, if you don't do Monday, it's still Monday. And if you feel like you still need some more vacation, you know, interestingly, our culture looks for those vacation. One of my girls were looking at the calendar and said, "Oh, today is holiday. It's President Day." I said that doesn't apply to us. But see, as Belizean, we want it to apply to us, so we get another holiday. So I asked her. I said, "Can you please find me the work day on the calendar? Because we don't see the work day, we see the holiday." I always said Belizean always have 6 calendar in their house because they want to make sure they don't miss those days off. If you fall upon weekend, we'll take it Monday. But I think in our society, we should be pursuing the work day. Those are the productive days. Those are the days to bring forth production to build a nation. So just want to leave that with you this morning, but says it's a wonderful opportunity to be with you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. To our friends on Facebook, I notice we have, see, that's Julio. Julio, we want to say good morning to you, sir. We have B. Shaw from Oklahoma. That's B and David Shaw. They're from the Ontario, well, from Belize, living in Oklahoma. And I'm glad you're tuning in. Miss Elaine McClure in Maryland, good morning to you. Rolando Kowo from Valley of Peace, good morning. Chuck Pollock from Charlotte, North Carolina, good morning, and good morning to each and every one of you wherever you are. Remember, this morning you can call us in at 822-1080. Text message is 622-8010. This morning we have a great opportunity to partner with, to hear from our friends from the No to the ICJ. My good friend Bobby Lopez. We've been together for quite some time, trying to rally forward move for Belize, and so I'm privileged to have our friends from the No side of the ICJ. My good friend Godwin Sutherland, will be hearing from them shortly, and Mr. Hubert Enriquez, yes, sir. So these 3 men are here with us this morning to help us, to educate us. For some of you might be just like me, haven't decided yet on the yes or no, and we need to make sure we fully engage in what we are voting and why we are voting that side, to fully ready and equipped for the ICJ, the referendum on April 10th. But before we get in there, I just want to remind you that we're coming up is the Gospel Expo on the 16th and 17th of March. All road leads to Belmopan National Agriculture and Trade Showgrounds, where Gospel Expo will be hosting its 7th annual Gospel Expo. We have international artists such as Joshua Ali, Emron Henry. We have Pastor Troy Brewer from Open Door Experience in Burleson, Texas. We have Be the One Ministry coming back again. We have David Holbeck coming with the 1 minute discipleship training, and several others that are coming with us. Evangelists from Trinidad. Man, it's going to be a great time. We want to invite you to get a booth for church ministry. It is a free booth we are offering you to educate. I'm offering a free booth to the No to the ICJ and a Yes to the ICJ to come out and share, educate our beliefs, and so they can make a sound decision. Booths are available for food booth. We are excited about this time. We're looking forward to it, and we want you to be part of, especially Sunday. All churches are invited to come join us. Let's have a united church service. We have room for everybody. So come on out. Let's prepare the showground for the glory of God. All right. I've seen changes take place ever since 7 years. You see showground is changing more and more the liquor is coming out. Soon it will leave the showground completely, and it will be a time of show, National Agriculture and Trade Show, not National Agriculture and Drink Show. All right, so please, let's do our part as a church to prepare the grounds. All right. Along with that, we want to say condolences to the family of Chavaria who passed out, who buried yesterday. Altia Chavaria, teacher Chav, and also want to say our prayers goes out to the Reyes family. Keep praying for Miss Paula and especially her family through this time. This morning, feel free to connect with us. But I want to say good morning, Brother Bobby.
Morning, Richard. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Good morning, and good morning to Mr. Godwin.
A pleasure to be joining you here, and a pleasant good morning to all Belizean online and abroad. Thank you.
Amen. And international, because we have people from Taiwan looking at us. We have people from the United States. We have Belizean and American who have interest in this country of Belize. And so, Bobby, we'll start with you. Surely, I want you to know, on the camera, surely appreciate your passion and your trailblazing, your radical commitment to what you believe in. And we do need, like I said, the know. I personally, I could say this boldly because I buy my own lunch, all right? So I don't have to have no fear, but surely appreciate Will Mejia for representing us on a national level. You know, I have changed my respect for Honorable Hubert Errington, being the Foreign Affairs Minister, not telling us what's going on, up to date with what's going on in the Sarstool and other part, and a citizen like Will Mejia, who risked his life and take a bull, he's like a bull, like a giant in the land, to tell us. I mean, if it wasn't for Will, we wouldn't know what's happening on Sarstool. He could have been gone already, but Will and the crew down south that are keeping us updated. And so I do want to say thanks to Will publicly. I want to say I feel a level of disrespect when the Minister of Foreign Affairs would say, well, you know, when Will talk, it's like the little boy that cried wolf. This is not wolf time. If Will is bringing those things, we're supposed to have a public response from the National Foreign Affairs Office and the National Security in terms of telling Belizean how we manage that. But thanks to the territorial volunteers and the leadership of Will Mejia and these guys down south who have keep us up to base. And for you, Bobby, for coming to the place, you and the crew, working to say no. And so I want you guys to tell us why I should go vote no, or should I not vote, or should I vote yes? I know there's a lot of Belizeans like myself who have not fully decided yet. People ask me, I said I don't have a yes or no yet. I have a part that I think I need to see kicking gear, and so I'm very honored for you guys to be here this morning. Go ahead, tell us.
Well, sure. Morning, Richard, and morning, radio and online viewers. It's always a pleasure to be here at My Refuge. Well, you know, this is we're talking about 500 years of history, and so it's quite difficult to condense it into 30 minutes or an hour. But essentially, the viewers will know that having gotten independence in 1981, of course, the negotiations between Guatemala and Britain, for all intents and purposes, it came to a halt, except Britain was still in the background, funding different initiatives such as the confidence building measures and other things. That was Britain doing a lot of the behind the scenes funding, and that was quite open and public. That's not any secret. They made it known. We'll recall that when the Prime Minister, the now Prime Minister, before he became Prime Minister in 2008, he did a crash course in Spanish in Guatemala, incidentally. And we found that very strange because, you know, all of these things, you have to watch them carefully and wonder what's happening behind the scenes. Well, that was also funded by the British, you know, for him to go and take a course in Spanish in Guatemala. And you wonder if that was actually the real purpose, because we have a language center here in Belize, and certainly qualified people that could speak Spanish. But be that as it may, we know that the culmination of the PUP administration in 2008 brought them very close to where we know that the OAS Secretary General said that, well, obviously seeing that the both countries were not coming to an agreement on this claim, that then it was the best thing was to take this thing to court. And so we've seen the past Prime Minister Said Musa acknowledge that the special agreement / compromise, as it was known, was essentially a PUP negotiated document handed to the UDP, and within 8 months it was signed by our foreign minister and their foreign minister at the OAS headquarters in Washington. Now, we know that the Bible also says that anything done in the dark will come to light. That's right. That was secretly signed. No consultation came to the people of Belize. The people of Belize had no idea what this document had in it, what our negotiators had arrived at. And so that was the first red flag to go up for us, because when something is done in secret, then immediately you wonder what is being hidden. What is the agenda behind this? And why did it have to be secretly signed? And then the truth is, it was the Guatemalan Prensa Libre that actually we heard it from. We didn't even hear it from our own people. Mm-hmm. They brought it out, and then of course afterwards it came to the local media. So that special agreement, first dubbed the secret agreement, compromise, and then the special agreement is really what it's called, brought us to a point where both countries agreed that the way to settle this dispute was to go to the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, without any consultation, any input from the local, from Belizeans. And so that was in December, I believe, the 8th, 2008, or December the 6th, 2008. The first, it was also said that a date would be set for referenda, simultaneous referenda, where both countries would go on the same day to decide, because it had to be brought to the people for a vote to decide if we're going to go that route. Well, only to be seen that the first date set for, I think that was October 6, 2013, did not materialize. Guatemala pulled out and said they were not ready. And it was back then, Richard, that for viewers who can see, you know, we had this spin because we started, our little group started to do our part in the educational process, to go around the country visiting wherever we were called and sharing what we felt were some of the deficiencies and the areas that needed to be addressed in this special agreement. And so in our group, we got little pins saying no to with the cross against the X against across the no to the ICJ. And so I've had this for going on 7 years. And people think that it's a design, but it's actually rust, you know. it's been around the country, including the islands where it got exposed to salt water. But where are we today? Well, about 2 years ago, we know that fast forward, it was not ratified brought to the Senate until 2016. A full 8 years after having signed was it brought before the Senate. Immediately we saw deficiencies between that time, where Guatemala asked if we could change our referendum act. We agreed. Guatemala asked if we could go on separate dates. We agreed. And so there were amendments to this agreement which started to water down the Belize position, which was already in a position of not strength but more weakness. But where are we today? Folks, on April the 10th, you will be asked to make to answer a question on whether you want to take this claim, but we don't know what the claim is because we agreed to any and all claims that Guatemala has had over the past couple of hundred years against Belize. Now, that puts up a red flag immediately. Those of us who, you just have to apply common sense to such a request. Who agrees to go to a court not knowing what your claimant, your opponent, is claiming? They could be claiming, as is said, on many times the foreign minister, the prime minister, and others have said, well, Guatemala has claimed the whole country. So, as we have a little saying in Creole, you know, you holler for $1, but you're willing for a shilling. Well, you holler for the whole country, more than likely the judges will say, man, you at least deserve a third or half or who knows what, because the case is not as ironclad and as airtight as our government makes it out to be. Then there's another area, Richard and viewers, that you must look at carefully. We looked at it over the past couple of years. In fact, since it was signed, we started seeing certain legal deficiencies and unconstitutional deficiencies in that very agreement. And so after the dates were changed and we could either go one before the other, we started to gather as a group and say, listen, first of all, the first thing we have to do is take politics out of this, take partisanship out of this. So we all agreed to set aside whatever partisan feelings or commitments or ideologies we had, and let's put country first. Having done that, we were able to bring the BTV, the COLA, the VIP, the BPP, and a lot of persons who are no-Ps, Christians, coming to the table and saying, how can we look at this? How can we decide what is the best way forward? Now, certainly there's one thing we all share, that going to the court is not in the interest of Belize. We're risking our children's future by doing that. We're gambling, the truth is. This 8867 that comprises Belize. And so there are several areas that, and I'll have my colleague Godwin speak to, as to why it is that we say no, and why is it that we're saying what is the huge rush, and why is millions of dollars being spent to get a yes? You have to look at it and say, and then look at the situation of our country in the last 38 years, where we have come to this position. We went from a position of 97, 98% literacy to, I understand it's now hovering somewhere below 50%. Why is that? What happened? We've come from very low poverty to now 40 to 50% poverty, below the poverty rate. We've come from, honestly, very little corruption. I guess it's always been there, but the British left us with strong accountability in the public service, transparency as best, and to where we are, we're not even on the transparency index, the corruption index. So we've seen rampant corruption. We've seen a country in decadence with crime and killing and every you know, are we in a position as a country socially and economically and to take on such a huge undertaking at the courts? But I'd like to turn it over to Godwin to perhaps specifically more look at some of those areas that we feel that this is not the time. There is no rush. April 10th is not really engraved in stone that it cannot be changed. And is it that we do even need to go there? Do we need to go there? And certainly we feel no, that is not the direction we should take, that negotiations do not end. Negotiators fail, but not negotiations. And we certainly think it's time for a whole new cadre, a whole new a mindset of negotiators to move this thing forward. And certainly we know that it can happen. And obviously putting the Almighty first. I mean, we have him first in our Constitution. We should have him at every step of the way in the negotiations. And we know that the people of Guatemala, having seen that only 26% came out, the 74% are more concerned about their own issues and not about taking over another country that they can't even solve their own internal things.
Once again, pleasant good morning. I think my brother Bobby has explained and given quite a panoramic view of the issues that face us as a country, and the fact that the whole manner in which the special agreement has been entered into, has been signed, the whole process of ratification requires that we take a pause and to examine whether it has been done in our own best interests. I think in my quest to try and come to a position in relation to whether to vote yes or no, I have done significant reading. I've listened. I've exchanged with some of our ambassadors. I have been to almost all the presentation prior to the formation of the Belize Peace Movement. And it is my view that I think, like many of the applications we see in our country and the way the government handles these affairs and the situation, it gives us great pause. We feel that they have been doing very little, that in fact in relation to crime, for example, we see it. We see it in relation to the way we deal with the health services. We see it in relation with the way we deal with the issuance of land. Yeah. We see it in relation to the passport. And we think that better can be done. Now, it is the same sets of circumstances on which we are going to the ICJ, the same sets of people we'll be using in relation to arguing our case. And then, so my view is, we should really, I think, look at our ministry that will be putting forward and has been putting forward this argument to the people of Belize. Mm-hmm. And we must question whether, in our opinion, their modus operandi, the way they are operating, are we seeing anything different from the way they operate in the other areas of our life in Belize? Mm-hmm. And if we say that we don't see any difference, then to me the question must arise whether at this time, in our hearts and in our minds, are we making a good choice by saying we will entrust the way forward with our country to a group of people who haven't organized, haven't demonstrated the ability to organize? And I say that following up on Bobby's question, by this lack of organization since independence, it has put our people in a progressively more unequal situation, and it has led to poverty, it has led to decay, and most of the steps we're seeing are not steps in relation to building a better family, building a better community. Yeah. And so we say, and I say, that these are some of the considerations that must be taken on board, whether we vote yes or no. In my humble opinion, we've seen, of most recently, we've seen a number of ambassadors have come down to Belize. In the case of Asada here, he lives in Cuba, and he has come down, and he's come down to tell us, listen, if you don't vote yes, something is wrong with us. We've heard our minister say, if you don't vote yes, you must be crazy. Well, I say they are disrespectful. That's right. I say that the process, if it is genuine, must allow for us to choose yes or choose no on the basis of information. Yes, and to the extent that they have not done that, I think that everybody who genuinely wants better for Belize must say to them, until you are able to provide us sufficiently, until you are able to show us that you are sufficiently organized, I will not join your bandwagon, I will vote no, and I will give Belize a chance. I think that for too long we feel that the words that comes from our leaders are the correct thing. And I will just share with you, I mean, we've since independence We spend a tremendous amount of money, and when we look around, our people are no better off. To the point now, we have the most significant threat to our country, and we are begging left, right, and center to take this matter to the court. Anybody who pays your bill, call the tune. We have friends, but we have friends and friends with condition. It is my opinion that we have failed our people in relation to being prepared even to take on this most important matters. And I say to the Belizean people, to me this is not like voting in an election. We have one Belize. If you say to me that you are going to put in the hands of some foreign person to determine the existence of this country and the way it should be, I say to you, you better come to me giving me the assurance that you are sufficiently prepared to answer even my question, much less the questions that will be prepared to you. And I have been in the negotiating business for many years. I was the president of the Public Service Union. And I don't understand how our government can increase our vulnerability and expect that we would go along with them and say, yes, how is it that you will agree with Guatemala to change the referendum date? By changing the referendum date, what you've done in effect is to expose all of our internal division, all of our arguments against the no to the Guatemalan press. Which smart diplomat does that? That's right. Which smart diplomat seek to contemplate putting our country at risk? We have gone from a situation where, we've gone from a situation where we were talking about access a Cart Road, and our negotiators are so skilled. We are now talking, years after, about giving away the country of Guatemala, claiming everything about the other day I heard a diplomat saying, who was saying, yes, yes, he said no, then yes, then protocol on his side, right, saying that we might lose some sea, we might lose. What are we to believe in these people? Yeah. And so for that reason, I say to people, their education campaign has failed. They have an obligation to tell you, as a Belizean people, have give you the full facts and have you judge for yourself. They have failed, and it is this failure why I say to the Belizean people, they have failed us, they will fail us again, they fail us at the court, and it is my view until they get their act together, we should say no to the ICJ.
Mr. Sutherland, thank you for that. We got to take a break. It's a minute past 8 o'clock. When we come back, we will be right back. So stay with us, folks. We're talking about why you should say no. So this is a no side, and giving the facts why they support the no, so that you could process things and decide on the 10th of April, or if should we reschedule a referendum date. Belizean must step up. This is our land. And so I want to thank these guys for being with us. We'll be right back after a word from a sponsor. It's 2 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
With the voice of triumph, this is My Refuge Christian Radio, 93.7, 100.5 FM, taking the light of Christ to the nations.
It's 8:02. We've got the plumbing and electrical in our store. We've got the paints and the brush and light fixtures. That's for sure. We've got steel, cement, and tiles galore. And so much more. We've got everything in that store. We've got windows and doors just for you in our store. We've got sheetrock, plywood, and hardwood too. That's for sure. Tools for gardening and the great outdoors. And so much more. We've got everything in that store. We've got variety, everything, quality, everything, quantity, everything, and builders hardware variety, everything, quality, everything, quantity, everything, and builders hardware. We've got the sinks and the tubs and cabinets in our store. We've got the nuts and the bolts, so don't forget. And so much more. We've got service with a smile. That's for sure. We've got everything in that store. We've got variety, everything, quality, everything, quantity, everything, and builders hardware variety, everything, and quality, everything, quantity, everything, and builders hardware. It's for builders who build with a passion and skill. Go to builders hardware.
Fletch Home Builders is the largest house building company in Belize. Fletch combines the best skilled workers, high-grade materials, and the latest technology to produce the highest quality wooden residential structures. Request any size, color, and the home layout you want. Choose from hardwood or painted metal outer walls. Fletch can modify any of their existing house plans to your satisfaction, complete with all the installation services you need anywhere in the country, including ambergris Cree. They can also lift your house to your desired height up to 9 feet. From properly treated and cured lumber to quality sidings and floorings, let Fletch Home Builders give your home the finish you need. For prices or questions, call 823-0398 or go to www.fletchhomebuilders.com. Fletch Home Builders, we build to suit your needs.
Where can you find quality household goods and appliance? Where can you get all your personal care products for the best looking you? Where can you get all the baby care products you need at the best prices in town? And where can you find all your groceries at really great prices? Yes, it's the mall for a whole lot of your kitchen, family and home needs. Walk through spacious aisles and browse well-stocked shelves in a very bright setting. Pick up fresh meat, cold stuff, canned goods, your favorite snack, and get the goods for your dog and cat. Everything your baby needs, find it all at the mall. Ladies, check out the beauty section for all your personal care needs. And guys, find a variety of car care products, even batteries, right off the shelf. Plastic wares galore for anything you need to store. Get help from the friendly staff. Don't do it all yourself. Pull up in our large parking lot on the Hummingbird Highway. Just a short drive from the roundabout. Mr. Huang and his family are waiting to welcome you to the mall in Belmopan.
It's here again, March 16th and 17th, My Refuge Annual Belize Gospel Expo. Under the theme, John 20:21. Again, Jesus said, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, I am sending you." This year marks 7 years of Belize Gospel Expo goodness. The National Agriculture and Trade Showgrounds will come alive all day Saturday and into the night. Booths, workshop, and live concerts. You will enjoy some great gospel music from some of our local gospel bands, such as the Polemio Band from Dangriga, the New Tide Band from Belize City, Belize artist Kelsey from Belmopan, and more. On stage will be our international artist Joshua Ali, straight out of Trinidad. I can see the promised land. And Emron Henry from St. Lucia. Then Sunday at 9 a.m., inviting all church in the Belmopan area to our joint service with guest speaker Troy Brewer from Texas. This will be an unforgettable weekend for the entire family, and it's all free. If you'd like to support financially, then please contact us at 615-0710 or 604-2404. The Belize Gospel Expo 2019. You don't want to miss this.
Like a rhythm inside me bones now. From my head right down to me toes now.
And of course, welcome back to Eyes on the Nation 93.7 FM. Good morning to you, to all of you who are tuning in to us this morning, whether locally, internationally, wherever you are. 93.7 FM, 100.5 in Belize City, on Facebook Live, as well as on Refuge. We want to say thank you for tuning in this morning. This is Real Talk of referendum coming up on April 10th. The peace movement talking about why you should vote no, and to let us understand more in details. We are in a country where we says vote yes, vote no, and so based on our loyalty to party, we decide whatever they say will go. And I always refer back to when there was a push on the 9th Amendment Act, and I saw a guy, yes to the 9th Amendment, and when the man come out, I asked, whether the 9th Amendment, the man was shocked, he couldn't even tell me nothing. A couple of days down the road, the man left high and dry, and he said, Leave it alone, you know. So we need to, for me, I won't say yes or no until I fully convinced why I'm saying that. But we do need to understand that we must get registered by 10th of March in order to be able to be voted in the referendum on the 8th of April. Or is there a call for reassign another date that we are not ready? Because a lot of people, including those who said yes, don't know why they're saying yes. And I've asked the yes to come on, I've asked the no to come on. Our radio is available to educate and equip. This morning we have Mr. Enriquez with us to tell us a little bit on why we should go take the no side, or what is there to find information, basic information. So Mr. Enriquez, good morning and welcome to My Refuge.
Good morning, Richard. It's a pleasure to be here and to share with you some of our concerns regarding the matter of the ICT referendum. Just to quickly have an input into the question that you asked earlier, which my two colleagues have already so eloquently responded to. I believe that if I would summarize what I think, what they're saying is that there are three areas where we're concerned about. One, the process. The process is such that one, we don't know at this time what Guatemala is claiming. That in our mind is a big, big red flag. If you're going to court, you need to know what you're up against.
That's
and
right.
At this point in time, we don't know. What we know is that Guatemala wants to claim the entire country, and that's a big red flag for us. We need to know exactly what it is that they are claiming. Secondly, the process is defective, because what we are doing really is asking the court to determine our boundaries, which in our minds are already determined already. And if in fact there is a need to amend the constitution, it needs to go through a process which requires the members of the House to vote. And so that is also a big matter for us. So there is that matter process. Then there is the question of whether or not we have not compromised the treaty. Now, one of the things we have heard, one of the things we have come to know is that treaties ought to be sacrosanct, in the sense that once a treaty is signed between both countries, which demarks their boundaries, that is what we are told. What we know is that that treaty is almost invariably treated as though it is sacrosanct. But we also know that based on international law, that once that treaty, a treaty could also be, there could be variations, and in fact, once both parties agree to amend the treaty, then the treaty is no longer a sacrosanct. And so there's a question of whether or not that has happened, because we have seen that there are instances in which we talk about the adjacent zone. There was in fact a treaty signed in 1992, which purported to have given to have made the point that in fact we don't know where our borders is. And a couple of other statements that have made by other persons, like for instance, we've heard of Armin mentioned that in fact there are no borders, that in fact the borders are artificial. You know, we know that what happened in the Sarastun, where it doesn't seem as though the government wants to press the claim, when in fact Guatemala have actually chased out of the Sarastun. You know, all those things have actually combined to give the impression that in fact we really, the 1859 treaty is not as solid as it was. And so there is that concern we have about going to the ICJ under those circumstances. And so for now we are saying no for now, because those are all some of the reasons why we feel that we shouldn't go to the ICJ. But if I may continue, because I know we have a limited time, and I know my colleague wants to also have I believe the question we have been asked, the question is, if no, what? That's the question I think people have been asking. What is going to be the alternative to if we vote to...
Can we take this call quickly? I guess that I had gone, but let me read this text quickly. It says, make it known to all people from the referendum unit is being paid. All right? Is being paid. It says, showman is being paid. All the people beating their chest is being paid. You are doing it because we love our country. It says peace stands for patriots engage against corruption and exploitation. Eyes on Nation, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Peace and blessings to all. Good morning, Brother Richard, and your two guest speakers. I have listened to both sides of the arguments on this ICJ. I think for me, the problem I have with it is I believe that at my age I should know if I'm Belizean or Guatemalan. That's number one for me. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. And no one can tell us exactly what Guatemala wants, or what will happen if we should lose at the ICJ. And those are my very great big concerns. I know Guyana and Venezuela had the same issue, and Guyana voted against it. I believe before we go to the ICJ, we have to think seriously what we are doing. It is a very delicate issue. Belizean people out there, please think carefully before you put that X. Find out every single minute detail that you need to find out. This is a serious issue. We are putting our country at risk one way or another. We can't say we're going to win. We can't say we're going to lose. But so please pray, ask God's guidance, and don't go there green. Make sure you know the facts. Don't go there putting yes because they're telling you to put yes, or putting no because they're telling you to put no. You make up your decision. You make your own decision on the facts that you are getting. I thank these two gentlemen, Brother Bobby, I know you very well, and God bless the young gentleman. I think he's from PG. I see him on the TV a few times. Keep on keeping on. God bless you all. And can I just say, Brother Rich, please, a happy and blessed birthday to my mother who's 86 years old today. God bless you all. I mean 89. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I think you have lots of people are calling now, Richard.
Eyes on Nation, good morning.
Hi, morning.
Good morning.
Okay, the call. I mean, this is the 7 News Friday. Could anybody comment on it where Jules we talk about with the Cameroon and Nigeria? Because I remember the same panel that you have there was saying when Nigeria lose, what happened will cause them to lose.
Yeah.
The same thing Belize will lose. So Jules explained concern some treaty. So could they expand on that one? Because they were showing that Belize will lose just like the way how Nigeria lose. But then, on the 7 News, they talk about the treaty, and the treaty was insufficient like what you said now. So I want to expand on that so that, because I'm one of the line where you all was pushing to show why Belize would lose. So could you comment on that now to say, and look at what Channel 7 News said concerning it now? Okay?
Right. Thank you, my friend.
All right, thanks.
Let me quickly answer that, because as you know, we have had international connections at the peace movement, and we've been able to get an attorney at law from Nigeria to comment on this whole matter, because you recall, in fact, there was a similar case in which there was a dispute between Cameroon and Nigeria over the Bakassi Peninsula, and Nigeria lost the case on the grounds that in fact there was a treaty, and but what the attorney spoke about, she didn't discuss at all the law. What she was speaking about really was what happened as a result of the fact that they were told that they had a strong case. They believed they had a strong case. What happened is that they had Nigerians living on this island, this peninsula, for many, many years, and they thought this was their land, and they had invested in the land. And so when the matter went to court and the loss, it was devastating for them. And what she was describing was what happened after the loss. And so why it is so important for us is that we when the question is asked to our political leaders as to what's going to happen if we lose, they shy away from the question. They have never answered the question. Yeah. And so for most Belizeans, it was an eye-opener to hear what is going to be the effect of a loss. And so to that extent, I think the video indicated what could happen if you go this way and you lose. And I think it was sort of an eye-opener for Belize, and I think in that extent it was very, very good. No? Yeah. We have little time, so I think Mr. Sutherland wants to jump in and say something before we move on.
Well, I think that the case is online, and I think all can Google and have a read of it. But I think to me the significance lies in the fact that when we are engaging in a process, it is important that people be given as wide an information as is possible, and that people provide the opportunity to question on both sides. In our opinion, we find it extremely, I want a better word, nonsensical. We find it unreasonable for the government and senior legal persons in our profession to be saying that we have such an ironclad case that the outcomes cannot be as the young lady in the video described. Because these are people of the law. Our Prime Minister is an attorney, Musa is an attorney, right? Even by the dictates of their own profession, they are bound to advise the client of the vulnerability that comes with taking the matter to the court. Right. If they don't do that, they themselves are dishonoring the institution to which they are taking this matter, because they presume that they know what will be the learned judge opinion. So how come you will tell the Belizean people that you are certain as the direction we're going, and are disrespectful to the extent that you don't think you owe the Belizean people to answer the question in the event of the court not ruling in the way you have presented it? What are the options? And I think this is one of the issues we find repeatedly in our governance. We feel that by providing authority to people, it means that you must treat us as people without brains. Yeah. You have an obligation as of our leaders to explain the issue to us and to explain it in its fullness. I think, you want to answer? Yeah. Okay.
Alright, Nation, good morning. Hello?
You answer the question I asked. The question I asked just know that when this whole thing starts, they'll get them in the talk last year about this case between Nigeria and the next country, and showing that the reason why we are lose or win or whatever it was the case then. Where they say is that where I want to do that, based on the result to come out of the case, with Newsbreak, and show the reason why the next country win because of a treaty. I want to know what is the guest they have in the studio, what is their take on it, and that's the reason why Nigeria lose. Not to get into the emotion and where the ironclad case or whatever it is, and so because me and you agree to go to court, that means two of us believe that we are winning. So that's to put that one side. If I decide to go and you decide to go, that means the two of us know that we have a strong chance of winning. That's why we decide to go. But if somebody don't decide to go, that means they don't feel like they are winning. That's why they don't want to go, whatever.
All right.
I'm saying that what is the rationale now? Because they were flagging that ship that Nigeria lose and the same thing will happen. But when the evidence come out, the evidence show that because of the agreement that they have, that's the reason. So they vote the rules strictly based on the agreement the two countries had. So what is the spin now? What I want to know, what is their rationale? If they feel like the court still rule wrong against Nigeria, are the rule correct for the next country?
All right. Well, we'll get back to that. I mean, we have 7 minutes. I'm inviting these guys to come back, as of course we cannot done it in an hour. So just bear with us. We will get on that. Let's take this one more call, and then we'll try to. Eyes on Nation, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Smith and the crowd there in students, I just want to pass a quick comment on your conversation today. Ever since I can remember, ever since as a little boy, I can remember England and, with all this ICJ talk. There are sweetheart deals going on behind people back, behind the citizens of this country back. That is even before the beginning of time where Guatemala and Britain is signing treaty and all kind of crap. Right now, today, we, the innocent, have to be, paying all this mistake, all this mishap that takes place. And, it says, I can see, there are signs about that say no to the ICJ. If we can't say no to these people coming over here, taking our land, taking, what is rightfully ours, individually, how can we go out and say, no to the ICJ when, we are saying yes to them when they come over here and doing us a lot of crazy stuff, So that's the comments I want to pass on to you guys, and, have a good morning.
Thank you, too, sir. Somebody's text here says, trust in the crux of the decision. Belizeans have to make on 10th of April. Can we trust the leaders of the past 38 years to confidently lead us to the ICJ? Have our leaders produced a Belize that we are pleased with? Is the Belize we want? I believe the answer is quite clear.
Just quickly, just to ease the caller's concern regarding the matter of the Bakassi Peninsula. That's why I made a point earlier, because what he wants us to say is that, in fact, there was a treaty that was signed between the Cameroons and Nigeria, on which the ICJ decided, based on a treaty, that, in fact, the land was for Cameroon. But the point I made earlier, Brother Richard, is very important, because while it is that there's a treaty, what we are saying is that the parties can agree to vary the treaty. And so in our minds, based on what has happened and all the evidence we now have, we think that there's sufficient information to suggest that, in fact, the treaty may not be as ironclad as we have known it to be, because of what has happened in terms of those agreements that were signed in 1992, for instance, in terms of the confidentiality measures, for instance, in terms of statements made. Because I remember in the case of Nigeria versus Cameroon, the statements that were made by ministers to the effect that there was no borders, that was brought into discussions as well. We have had a similar instance here where, in fact, our minister has said that there is no border. So I think that the issue really has to do with the matter of whether or not the 1859 treaty is compromised. And in fact, there is information from our perspective that, in fact, it is. And so therefore, what we know as an ironclad case may not, in fact, be an ironclad case, and we might be shocked to find out that the ICJ that, in fact, that's not the case, and that would be what the young lady from the video was actually advising us against, that they thought they had an ironclad case, lost the case, and so forth. We don't have much time left, so I think we're going to wrap up, and I believe so I want to say something.
Well, I think that when we started, Richard, on this quest to form the Belize Peace Movement, and our view was that there need to be a kind of non-political agency that will be responding to the arguments that the government was putting out there. Because all we were hearing was yes to the ICJ. And it is our view that all arguments have a number of sides. And so we felt that we, having been involved with this issue for a number of years, having held the position that this case is not as sound as they are making out to be, that we should advance those arguments to the Belizean people and have the Belizean people hear both sides, since the government was not doing it. Well, on this journey, we have been joined by many people who have much more information than we had. We've had attorneys, we've had historians, we've had ordinary Belizeans who own a piece of land and feel that it has been put at risk by virtue of the government making a decision that they are not even aware. Most Belizeans, even to this point, we have some 56, 7 days away, and they're not even affair with why we should go to the poll, why we should vote. And so we believe that the government's obligation to inform and to educate the Belizean people they have failed like they failed in so many other areas. They have not addressed this, the common issue. If you are going to vote on the 10th, what happens to the vital statistics? We find people can't get their birth certificate. We find a system that is in arrear. They haven't spoken in clarity as to how the referendum process itself will be managed and handled independent of how it will be validated and verified. Yeah. How can we, in this day and age, still believe that it's acceptable to treat our people in this manner? Sorry. It is my opinion that until they get their act together, if for no other reason people should vote no, it is to stop the politician feeling that they have a right to just do as they wish and we must follow blindly. And I think for us in the Belize Peace Movement, we firmly believe that what we are on about is informing the Belizean people and to try to find a better way in which Belizean can be respected in all forums. And I will tell you, this is not dissimilar from what happens in the past, you know. We will recall, for example, that it wasn't our leaders who came and tell us what was happening in relation to some of the most outrageous agreement that was being crafted on our behalf. Mm-hmm. It was the Belizean people who feel that something is up, something is wrong, something is not right. Why are they rushing us? Why don't you address our problem at home before you think that you can bring us to a situation to vote yes without first having given us the proper education? And not only that, their deception is wide and far. Mm-hmm. They've included, for example, the United Nations organization in relation to their training objective for the education campaign. And they've also done it in relation to the referendum. But they give the view, every time you hear them, that all their decisions are sanctioned by the United Nations. And you know what is worse? The United Nations has kept quiet in relation to their involvement and the extent of their involvement. And so one must wonder, how is it that we are seeking to establish a better democracy where our people have the right to participate based on knowledge, based on information, and it has been withheld from us? How is it that the United States, for example, in almost all their cases, have gone against the decision of the ICJ, but were the first one to tell us, we'll give you 500,000 so you can go and resolve your case at the ICJ? I say, when you don't know the full details, vote no.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking time out to be here with us. I know it have not done justice to our listeners for this one, so we got to bring you guys back. We got to continue. And also, I invite the yes side to come and share why yes. The best thing is to educate the Belizean on what you know so that you can make a sound decision, not on political biases or any kind of sway one way or the other. But this is a crucial situation. It has to do with the future of our nation. It has to do with our children and grandchildren. And so we want to be informed so we could vote on the way we are to. Secondly, Godwin, you mentioned something there about the vital statistics. And I think if we're serious about the ICJ voting on 10th of April, I believe there should be a better, a more urgency at the Vital Statistics Office. One should be in Belmopan for sure, to get people register, get your birth certificate early. What I've been hearing is people going all day and frustrated and get turned around. And man, this is not time to turn around the Belizean. We need to be ready. As a matter of fact, for all of us who have not been re-registered, if you have not been re-registered, that means you cannot vote, and the deadline to get registered is by March 10th. So you got to get in your registration in before then in order to participate as a valid Belizean making a decision for your country. This morning I want to say thanks to Mr. Bobby Lopez, thanks to Mr. Hubert Enriquez, Mr. Godwin Sutherland, and folks, my refuge door is always open. Come again. Please if we got to do 3-4 more time before now and then. We need to hear from the ICJ team why we should and believe they need to be educated enough to make a good decision. I want to close off in saying thanks to Mr. Will Mejia for his constant watch on the north, on the south. And of course, we are a blessed country. We have more to discuss when we get back. But our time is up. It's 8:34. I want to say good morning to all our Facebook friends and fans. Sarah was not able to carry through everybody saying Henry Brown in Belize City, good morning. Carl White in Belize City. Roy Rawls from Missouri. Oliver Small from Ladyville. Laverne Williams, good morning, wherever you are. Rose Banner in LA says, good morning, Brother Richard. Rita, that's Rita Noella Ritchie from Dangriga. Louis Mendez Sr., good morning, thanks for joining us. Rose Banner, Jesse Mendoza, Victor Hernandez in the South, PG. Ray Foreman in LA, good morning. Belizean in LA. Selena, is that Selena Lemott, Ontario, good morning. Audrey, that's Andy, good morning from Belmopan. And then Susan Irvin Orton from Oklahoma, good morning to you. Gilda Hyde, good morning, thanks for joining us as well. And then Lupe Mai in Belize and in Taiwan. Paul McCullough from BEL. Fred Arana, that's Alfred Arana. And to all our friends, Jamal Aviles, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your partnering with us this morning. This is where we say goodbye. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you. We're out of here.